Ladies and gentlemen, this is the analysis of the Ghost Ball match I played in one of my practice sessions. This is a short set, race to 3. It was a part of a progressive drill where after the break-off I would take first 3 balls off the table, then to clear up the remaining balls. If I win the set, I take the only 2 balls in the next set, then it would be 1 ball. And now we have the final set where no balls are taken off the table. I don't include the previous set within this video, just not to make it last 3 hours or so. It should be noted what this video is and what it isn't. It's not a demonstration of perfect skill. For that one, you go to other YouTube channels. This is a video analysis of a practice session. So what I do is I take this set and I try to analyze what I did right, what I did wrong, what I was thinking for each shot, and what can be improved. For this break, actually, it was very decent break. 3 balls in. After the break in Ghost, I can take the cue ball in hand, place it anywhere on the table. If I clear up, I score a point. If I don't clear up, Ghost scores a point. And here, almost all the packets are taken away for the 2. The only packet available is the top right one. My idea was simply to screw the cue ball ideally into this position so that I have the angle on the 5 to later come on the 4, sorry, to come back for the position to purple 5. So standard rotation thinking where you need to think 3 shots ahead, especially in open layouts. The 2 ball is in, but here is a first slight mistake. I wanted to be with the cue ball somewhere around this marked area. I have slight trouble marking it due to the software. I wanted to be here, so I have the angle that I mentioned that would send the cue ball to the left cushion. Here, however, the problem is that with this angle I cannot go to the right side of the table because 9 blocks the position. So my option is to play this shot with top right, go to the left cushion, back to the center of the table. The problem is that I have to play this shot with inside spin, and playing such shots with inside, well, I find these uncomfortable, as you will see. And this resulted in an easy miss. Point goes to the Ghost. So first point to note, well, first of all, there was a weakness with inside spin. And second, it was a miss in an open position, and very often in a standard match of 9 ball, this would cost me multiple games. It would cost me especially loss of confidence in the beginning of the match. So we always want to have a strong start in the game of pool. And now the confidence is slightly undermined, which is not what we want to have. In the second break-off shot, again, good break, 2 balls made. I was able to figure out the break in the previous sets before playing this final set of progressive drill. And after the break, again, I can take ball in hand and consider my patterns. So here I obviously see that I have open position for ball number 4 for within this area. Center of the table is cut off by ball number 8, so really I don't have it available. So therefore I need to be with the cue ball somewhere there. However, it's not a big problem, especially, let me screw slightly back, especially because from this position of the cue ball I can later take the cue ball of 2 cushions, top cushion, left cushion, somewhere to the center of the table. I go across the position area for ball number 5. So really I want to be here for ball number 5. However, the margin for error is still relatively large for this ball. So I was completely fine with this pattern. So again, the idea is to play somewhere to this area from ball number 3, so I have comfortable angle to play of 2 cushions from 4 to 5. In fact, played to perfection. Unfortunately, I have only one camera angle, so when I stand like this in front of the camera, the shot might be slightly covered. But the idea again is to play it with top left, back to the center of the table, then everything is open. Yes, and this angle on the 5 is indeed alright. I can just stun this 5 off the cushion for position for ball number 6. It might be slightly too big for my liking, however, not a big problem. Again, a giant margin for error for this position. Even if I misplayed the angle of the shot, 6 is available from multiple areas. Also regarding the angle from 6 to 7, we have to think 3 shots in front. If I finish within this area, I can again put the 6, screw back into the 7 for this area, or possibly if I don't feel comfortable with that shot, I can also follow the 6 somewhere into here for position on the 7, or with bigger angle I can even play for the center. This is less comfortable because I would be positioning for the short side of the 7. Therefore, ideally, I want to finish somewhere straight on the 6 so that I can screw it back into the center of the table. Parts of the video were muted, only the moment of taking shot was unmuted. It's because YouTube would go crazy if we have background music all the time. So here again, I was considering the short side of the 7, but I decided that I have significantly larger margin for error if I simply screw the shot back to the 7. And 8 is in open position, so any angle on the 7 works. Like from any angle on the 7, I can find a good position in ball number 8. Yes, so this angle throws me slightly to the right hand side of the table. Here I want to check out the angle 8 on the 8 that I want to have. The idea is simply later to play with topspin ball number 8 of the top cushion into the 9. And here is an important choice. What I was considering, like the cue ball goes somewhere here of the cannon with the 8 balls. I was considering playing it with top right along this line where I have a rather big margin for error. Also, I was considering playing it with left. That would send the cue ball over here. However, the latter option, first of all, we are positioning slightly to the short side of the 9. So keep in mind the 9 is slightly to the left of this center line, and even such slight changes in the position of the 9 result in significant change of the margin of error. And with position on the right, this margin remains rather large. In fact, in here, like kind of anywhere on this line would be all right. And even if I misplayed slightly, even if off the cushion the cue ball goes closer to the cushion, especially even if I land on the cushion, then it's completely fine. Therefore, I decide to play this shot with top right. There is slight mental effect going on. Keep in mind that in the first game I have missed a shot where I was playing with inside spins, so it enters into the next shot. So here we have rather comfortable position on the 9, possibly a bit too high. The angle maybe slightly too big. You can see it missed, but it's a fairly good position. The 9 is in 1 game each, so this game is in fact played pretty well. Game number 3. I continue to break from the left side of the table. The previous breaks were pretty good. It's a slight cut break on ball number 1, but this time you have seen that the free ball went slightly to the high side. So not a great break. Like within the ghost ball, ideally we want to first of all get a good spread so that everything is open. Second, we want to take some balls off the table. We want to make something on the break, so we have simply less balls to go for. It's usually not really a huge issue, but the less balls we have on the table, the less likely we are to get clusters. Here, obviously, the huge problem is ball number 2 and ball number 3, where the combination is tricky. 3 is half a diamond away from the pocket, and there is also a sizable distance between the 2 and 3. So what I want to do within this shot is to ride with the cue ball right behind the shot line for ball number 2, where I would have a comfortable combination. And for the last shot, in fact, if you have a closer look on what the cue ball has done for this shot, then you observe that, especially maybe I can draw a line, some reference line. You observe that, well, the cue ball has drifted quite a bit. So I remember that for this particular drill, this drift didn't matter, but I have to keep in mind that the shots cannot be rolled. They have to be played with confidence. So this is the critical shot. Most important element of this shot is not only to pot the 3, but also keep the 2 ball in such a position that it can be made in the next shot. So, for example, I don't want the 2 ball to like go somewhere and be tied up by the 9. I want to hit this shot well, as straight as possible so that the 2 stays over the left corner pocket, which I actually managed. So we have solved we have solved a tricky problem within this rack. It's not yet completely comfortable. The cue ball is far away. I cannot really approach it comfortably. I will play the next shot with the bridge. And the uncomfortable thing, the shot I have chosen for this shot was to screw it with bottom left and go along this line, where I would have some sizable margin for error for ball number 4. Like almost anywhere it lands on this line, it's fine. I will have a cut to the center. But the feeling with the bridge is significantly worse than when we play with the hand. Therefore, this shot was not that easy. It was very easy, like it's very easy to badly misplay such a shot, to deliver either too much screw or not to deliver screw at all and have not shot for the next one. But the previous shot was played to perfection. I have a perfect angle on ball number 4. So here you'll see that there is a bit of traveling because ball number 4 is in the center of the table, then 5 on top, 6 on the bottom, 7 on top, 8 in the bottom of the table. So we will have to travel a bit with the cue ball. Even when the balls are opened and such, traveling can pose trouble. But we have to come up with a plan. My plan in this position was that, well, with this angle I can actually focus on getting a nice angle on ball number 5. One idea was simply to stop the cue ball over there, but that's no good. I finished straight on the 5. I cannot do anything comfortably with the cue ball. But what I can do is simply to take the cue ball off the left cushion, and the angle that I would get on ball number 5 would later take me back to ball number 6 to the bottom of the table. So in fact, just playing it with maximum high is perfect. Here on ball number 6, the next shot is actually important. It's possible to blunder the position on ball number 6 by playing straight into the straight area. So I really wanted to make sure that I finish that I approach the 6 somewhere from this angle, so that later I can simply take the cue ball off the right cushion somewhere to the top of the table. So for the next shot, anything but straight is good. And it's close to straight, but again, it's not straight. The angle is not big enough to play the shot described in the previous shot, in the sense that I don't have the angle to pull off this shot with bottom left or even a stun. So what I decided to do is to play this shot with a bit with top, with a bit of right, and take the cue ball of the right cushion, bottom cushion, into roughly anywhere in this area of the table, anything but straight. So we have a huge position area for the 7. It's also nice that the 7 is not in some tricky position, but we have a huge margin of error and still have comfortable position on ball number 7. But as I remember from this practice session, the tricky thing about it was again the first shot I played in this drill, where I missed the ball with inside spin to the bottom left pocket. But this time inside spin went completely fine. And here I have a choice. I finished a bit close to the left cushion, so some choices are a bit complicated. It's also kind of straightish, the 7. The options I consider is to either play this shot with stun of the left cushion and either of the right into this area or straight into this area, but the problem is that we have 8, we are going into the 8 into the short side. So for example, the line that I marked with 1 results in a bit too much angle for the 8 to my liking. I would have to do some special things with the cue ball to hold it for the 9, even though it's next to the pocket. With line number 2, I'm going across the position area. Let me draw it with another color. I'm going kind of across the comfortable position area for within this yellow region, and the margin for error that I would have for that shot is it's not great. So another option is to consider the position area on the right hand side, and in fact, since we are going on the long side, this position area is quite big, and to play this shot with top right, plate of top cushion, right cushion into the position area for choice number 3. And since this offers me the best margin for error, you can see that I have a large region, a large fraction of the part of the path of the cue ball leads me to a decent position, and therefore it is an indicator that this is the shot to take. But again, I have to play it with inside spin. Also, there is a point to be mentioned for playing this shot on the right, because normally you do it without even thinking. The position to the right hand side of the table is the obvious position for this shot. However, here also 9 covers the right hand jaw of the bottom left pocket. So 8 is available on, well, slight fraction of the pocket is taken off by the 9. So if I play position to the left pocket, I have to be slightly more precise with ball number 8. But the fact that I played the perfect position definitely helps. Here I decided to play this shot with screw of the right cushion into the 9. The reason is that I can play this shot with a bit more confidence. I didn't want to roll this shot because then unpleasant things like skids may happen, like throw. I felt a bit safer with making this shot with a draw. And 9 for the win. So last two games have gone all right. This is game number 3 and game number 4. I'm sorry. I decided again to go with the same spot despite bad break on previous attempt. The point is that for 10 next, like about 10 attempts, I was very successful with making the corner ball. And here, as you can observe, if we come back with the break, again, if you follow ball number 8, it goes straight to the corner pocket. So this time a great break. Balls are open, there are still some tricky parts on the table. So immediately the shot that comes into mind is to position the cue ball over there and play it off the left cushion into ball number 2. And then depending on the angle that we have on ball number 2, we have different shots. For example, if we finish with the cue ball here, we could just stand off the right cushion between 6 and 5 and 4 position for ball number 3. If we finish with slightly less angle, we can simply punch it off the right cushion for a position like this. Ideally, on ball number 3, I want to have a high angle so that I can actually stand across for a position like this into ball number 4. However, it's also very difficult. I didn't manage to find a way that would straightforwardly lead me into the correct angle for ball number 3. Therefore, I decided to go for any position at all. Possibly that's a mistake. However, I cannot see a way to easily obtain the correct angle. So here I was thinking for a bit about the options I have just described. I'm checking out the angle right now. I'm checking out my options. Again, I have described these options. Ball number 5 and ball number 6 are in fact a bit uncomfortable as they represent obstacles for ball number 3. In fact, for the position from 2 to 3, any ball on the table except the 9 can represent obstacle, either in taking the cue ball towards the position area or by obstructing the position area like ball number 7 and 4 do, in the sense that they cut me off this area of the table. So from this angle, I have decided to stand the cue ball of the right cushion into the position for ball number 3, so it's not a clean screw shot, it's a bit more of a punch. But it was a bit misplayed. Too much screw, but this year Christmas came early. In the sense that if you have a look, let me slightly take it back. If we proceed without this cannon, with this jaw of the center pocket, I wouldn't have position at all. The cue ball was tracking towards the 3. The cue ball was, with this angle, it was tracking towards the cannon. For ball number 3, I would have no position whatsoever. However, the way the cue ball cannoned ball number 3 was indeed very, very lucky. Let me fast forward slightly. Here I was considering two options. So basically I'm hampered on ball number 3. Ball number 4 results in uncomfortable cueing. Option number 1 was the one that I mentioned, to take the cue ball off the 2 cushions for position into this area. And I have a giant margin for error in here, in the sense that, for example, if I finish on ball number 4 like this, then I can take it off 2 cushions for position into ball number 5. Not the best of arrows, but you get the idea. If I finish slightly more straight, then I can screw off the left cushion for ball number 5. If I finish with the angle that directs me towards the brown 7, I can simply play the gun on ball number 7, use it to stop the cue ball somewhere within this area, and again I have position on the 5. So therefore, this choice of taking the cue ball of 2 cushions like this is reasonable. The problem is that I have to play it with bottom left, and anytime you apply left spin or any side spin while striking downwards, you can have masse effect. So masse effect, it can result in some very unexpected mess, even on easy shots. So that's why I also consider another shot, in the sense take the cue ball of the top cushion and stopping it somewhere within this area for 4 into the center. However, I decided against it because it had a tiny position area, in the sense that 1-inch mistake to either side would result in an uncomfortable shot on ball number 4. So for that reason, the choice of playing it of 2 cushions is preferable for this shot. And it was executed nicely. I finished with a nice angle on ball number 4. For this angle, in fact, I have immediately seen that the maximum low takes me with the cue ball like somewhere along this line. And the nice thing about it is that the position area on the 5 is in fact rather wide, in the sense that anywhere I land on the 5 is alright. If I land over here, then I can simply take the cue ball of the right cushion into the position 46. If the angle is a bit bigger, if I have to approach it from here, I can play with the cue ball of 2 cushions and stay into position for ball number 6. If I have this angle, no angle at all, then I can simply play a stop shot for this kind of position. If I have the angle more on the right hand side, I can just stun it across the left cushion again for position on ball number 6. So whichever angle I have on ball number 5 is fine. And that results in a big position area. Played it nicely. So I have here the slightly bigger angle on the left. I remember that while playing this drill, I started to get slightly stressed. In fact, for this type of drill, this progressive drill with multiple sets and reduced handicap for each set, I have never reached I have never made it within the final stage. I have never progressed through the full drill of the 9-ball. And here there was a bit of stress, which is actually very beneficial in the sense that it imitates the match situation. It imitates the stress that I would feel in an actual match. And this is something we want to achieve in the practice session. We want to make it as close to a match in a tournament as possible. Within this position, I landed almost straight on ball number 6. The angle takes me to the top of the table. That's what would happen if I would just stunt the shot. What I want to achieve within the next shot is to, in fact, screw it slightly somewhere into this area so that I can take the cue ball of the top cushion, that's not a great line, of the right cushion into the position for ball number 9. If I finish straight on this shot, it's also fine, because the straight shot would take me back somewhere like this. I would need to feel the screw shot a bit better, but it's not that bad. If I finish above the straight line, I can just stand to the bottom of the table for the 9 into bottom right corner. So again, there's a wide margin for error on ball number 7. But for this particular shot, I ended up with slightly too much angle to have something that is completely easy. In fact, this angle takes me somewhere towards this area, and playing this shot just with maximum low would result in a path that is somehow like this, that goes across this 50-yard line And any shot on this line is a bit uncomfortable. Shot within this area would result in a bit of too much distance for the money ball. A shot within this area, we land on a 50-yard line, uncomfortable shot both to the left and right pocket. So for that reason, I have to again play the shot with a little bit of insight to kill the angle, and instead of taking the cue ball along this line, to take the cue ball along the yellow line like this into the position area for ball number 9. So it's a bit uncomfortable that again I have to play one of the critical shots with inside English. But I have played this shot to perfection. It was almost straight. This is exactly the kind of shot that you want to have on the deciding ball. And that concludes the progressive draw.